Oh, how are you?
If you're new to my channel, be sure to stick around for the question of the day so you can be featured in my next video. And be sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon. With that being said, enjoy.
What's going on, my Knights of Hen? So alas, last video and well, a while ago now, I said I would put the kit Fisto Force FX up against the recent Darth Revan Force FX Elite. Why? Because I found Fistos to be the better one out of the three. You know, out of DOOKU, Ventress, and Fisto. Has way more features than the other two. And well, does it stand against the Darth Revan Force FX Elite? We're gonna find out. So before we get on to the comparison also, someone in the last video actually asked me, you know, what would happen if we put the KYLO Ren blade onto the Darth Revan hilt. Would it work? We're also gonna find that out too, just before the comparison. And without further ado, my Knights of Hen, here we go.
Alrighty guys, here they are. We got the Kit Fisto Force FX and then the Darth Revan Force FX Elite. Now, as I said, before we get onto the comparison, we're gonna see what happens when we put the KYLO Ren blade onto the Revan Force FX Elite. So, got the blade right here from the KYLO Ren. As you can tell, be right back. Gonna put it in, or try to anyway. Alright guys, got the Kyber crystal out, so here's like the thing, what it looks like. It's pretty similar to the KYLO Ren one. You can tell this is my KYLO Ren one because of the color, I guess. And because you can see the scratches, more defined. Alright, let's go ahead and put it in. So as you can see guys, it fits. Haven't turned it on yet. Let's see if it will. As you can see, nothing. Doesn't do anything. Well, there you go. By the way, guys, I totally forgot to mention, be sure to check out my Instagram. I've actually rebranded it, if that's even the right term, to just be about Star Wars and lightsabers, you know, particularly lightsabers. Instagram will be in the bio below, but yeah, definitely check it out. I'm also pretty active, so if you want to have a chat, I'm all for it. I'm currently chatting to some of you right now, and it's great. Yo, it's come to that point where I'm making new friends, and honestly, I'm pretty grateful. But yeah, again, in the bio below. Alright guys, let's get on to the comparison. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the detail, you know, of the hilts. Let's start with Kit Fisto, shall we? So, Kit Fisto is, I'm going to say, on the more, like, kind of simpler side. You know, don't get me wrong, you've got some details here. You got, like, rubber O-rings. You got, like, these gold things. You got the ignition knob, which is here, which you actually turn. And then you got another knob that doesn't do anything. You got more of those things. This time they're purple on the bottom. More rubber O-rings. And then here's the pommel. I will say, I really do like the pommel here because it's got a more stealth look. Like the speakers are kind of tucked away. And in a way, which I'll mention later on, it does help with sound. It's also got a convertic wheel, so you can plug it onto your belt plug thing. Here's the blade plug on the emitter. Not too bad. You know, again, it's on the more simple side. But yeah, no, it's not too bad. Now let's move on to the Revan. So, the Revan hilt has a lot more going on. You've obviously got like these three fins. They go all the way to the top there, which can move, you know, as you've seen previously. You got the two buttons with two different functions. Obviously to turn on and turn off, which it does now. And then you've got the second button, the green one, which activates like the sound effects when the blade is on, like the blaster effects, screeching effect, etc. I will say the pommel, you can see the speaker right there. It's not too bad though. And then moving on more, there's like these black details here, you know, kind of like showing quote unquote like internal electrical thing, whatever. There's three of them that go around the hilt. And then you got like some patterns here, which is really cool. It kind of reminds me of like tribal. It's got a nice kind of polished aluminum, which is really nice. I quite like that. And then you got the blade plug, obviously, which has a hole so you can look into where the Kyber crystal is. But yeah, no, in general, there is a lot going on. So, out of the two, in terms of detail, I'm gonna give it to the Revan Elite. It does look somewhat better to me to look at. Now, we got the details out of the way, let's get on to the comfort. So how it feels when holding. So going back to the Kit Fisto, because of its simplicity, you got the standard cylinder or whatever feel, which actually does feel quite good. The choke point is quite nice to hold. I can really like grip on it tight, and honestly it feels quite good. Again, like I can do like all this stuff and it feels great. Now we go on to the Revan, because of like the fins, they're, in my opinion, they're kind of in the way and it doesn't feel too nice to hold. I found that I had to really adjust it, like kind of put my palm up on one of the fins like that and then kind of grip it there. But I find it just gets too awkward or like sometimes even painful to just really try to grip it, because you know sometimes I'm scared of dropping the lightsaber. You could try and hold it there, but it's even worse, and then holding it like that obviously is not very practical either. So comfort, I'm giving it to Fisto's 100%. It just feels way more comfortable. Alright, now let's talk about the internals. Let's go ahead and start with the kit Fisto, shall we? So looking inside where the blade goes, you can see it's a lot different. It doesn't have like those spikes to connect to the blade, but rather, if we look at the blade, the spikes are actually on the blade. So those go in contact with those like things directly, which I find really good because there is no scratches. And then you got the where the battery goes, which is, you know, also the same in a way, except those are spikes there. And then the battery pack is, yeah, so it's pretty much the same as most sabers anyway. Going back to the battery pack, you got the sleeve on, which you have to unscrew. Now, to some, it may seem, you know, a bit of an inconvenience, which I understand, but just think, the batteries are very well secured, so that's good. And then there's the speaker, and yeah. Alright, now we got the Revan Force FX Elite. Let's take a look. So looking inside here, you can just see it, but there's the spikes to connect the inlet of the blade, if that's what it's even called. And then it's pretty similar to the Kit Fisto, you know, the way it works, the spikes there, and then the battery pack, yeah. So because the spikes are there like that, the way they've done it for putting in blades, I'm using the Kyber crystal here, which uses the same thing. You can see it's already starting to get scratches. Reason for this is you line it up with the grooves, put it in, push, twist, which obviously gets the brass bit in there to scratch. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but whatever, so far it's good. And then here we have the battery pack. The batteries are more exposed because it does not have the sleeve like the Fisto does. Then there's the speaker right there. So yeah, whatever. So judging from what we've seen there, in my opinion, I have to give to Fisto's again. For me, it just seems like it has more security, and the way they did the blade, it doesn't scratch, it's more solid, you know, there's no blade wobble. I don't know if I've ever told you guys, I do experience some blade wobble with this, but this one is solid, and when I say solid, I mean solid. So, good work, whoever made Fisto. Alright guys, now we're gonna get on to sound. So let's go ahead and start with Fisto. So, you know, it's not bad. It's the standard kind of Force FX sound, which, you know, whatever. Now, because it's more kind of crowded here, it kind of reduces a little bit of the muffle, so that's pretty good. We go onto the smooth swing, I think it's called. You know, it's responsive, but, you know, like most Force FX, you know, it's not the greatest, you know, compared to custom sabers like NeoPixels. One thing I will say is that, like, when it kind of, I don't know if you guys can notice it, but like the noise will kind of like pause, as if like the loop kind of restarts, and then as you guys just heard, the clash, which, yeah, pretty good, not too bad. Now let's move on to the Revan Force FX Elite. Alright, let's fire it up. So, straight up, it's quieter, like, by far, than the Fisto. Smooth swing, I'll say, is slightly better. You know, just slightly. And then, obviously, you got the clash, which, you know, the blade responds. Then, you got the blaster effects, and then the scrape, screeching. But yeah, and then obviously you got a noise for when the blade changes color. The noise, the smooth swing is it's slightly better, you know, just slightly. Honestly, this bit is quite hard for me. Like, this one has more to it, but that one is just sounds so much louder and for me clearer. Downside to it is, like you've seen, kind of like the smooth swing kind of like stops and then restarts, kind of like there's a loop, kind of just resets. Like, I want to vote Revan, but the quietness is really turning me off. You know what, guys? I'm gonna give it to Fisto by this much. Only because it's louder. The sound just sounds more defined. By that much, okay? By that much for me. Comment below what you reckon. Alright, now we're gonna do brightness. So, Fisto. And then Revan. So, normally red is more dimmer than the other colors, but I've noticed with Force FX Elite, it's brighter. The red is more satisfying, but for me, the green is still overtaking it. I don't know, I think green is just such a magical color. Like, right now, you can't really see it with the camera, but oh man, like, right now what I'm seeing with the naked eye, right now the green is just... mwah. Let's try swapping it to the purple. Yeah, the purple ain't too bad, but honestly, the purple is more dimmer than the red. Oh man, this is hard also. There we go. That's what I'm kind of seeing with the naked eye. Let's do that. Let's try it one more time, this time with the red. Force FX Elite. And then Force FX. Okay, I've made up my mind. Now, despite the Force FX Elite having two colors, which, you know, they are somewhat bright, I'm gonna still give it to Fisto, because the green, honestly, is just... mwah. Honestly, if you have a Kit Fisto lightsaber right now and a Revan Elite, compare it and make a decision for yourself and let me know in the comments below. But for me, Fisto wins it. Alright, now we're gonna go on to the functions. Straight away, Revan. It's got more. You know, you guys saw it just before. Like, that's got some, but obviously Revan's is far more superior. Force FX Elite, guys, come on. Yeah, you get the point. Fisto can't do that. Now we get on to price. Now, when it comes to price, I'm gonna take into consideration, you know, like, what the saber has to offer and all that stuff. So, I pay... this is in Australian. I paid $348, I think. Wait, let me just check. $300.48 for the Fisto. And this one was $500. So obviously the Fisto's is cheaper. The Revan, while more expensive, has, you know, more features, which are pretty cool, I guess. But is it really worth the extra like $150 or so dollars? For me, I'm gonna give it to Fisto again. $348. It's a solid saber for what it is, and honestly, but don't get me wrong though, you know, the Revan has some cool features, but honestly, while it has those features, you know, does it really justify $150 for, like, you know, extra sound? Like, yes, you got some, like, flash effects on the blade, but this is me personally, by the way, guys. Like, if you're different, that's fair enough. More power to you. But for me, I'm gonna say the Fisto. $348 versus $500. In this instance, I'm going for $348. So, in the end, my winner is Kit Fisto. Honestly, it's for what it is. It's a solid saber. It's bright. It's got some effects. Honestly, it's nearly a Force FX Elite, just minus some features. It's it's honestly one of my favorite Force FX right now. Feels super comfortable to hold. And not to mention, like, while the hilt is more simple, it's more stealth because of the pommel, like I mentioned before. But yeah, guys, I definitely recommend. But yeah, guys, out of the two, for the value, I'm gonna give it to Fisto. Do you agree or disagree? Comment below. But yeah, guys, Fisto is my winner today. Better luck next time, Revan or Force FX Elite. Alright, guys, I will see you with the question of the video.
Alright guys, so last video I asked you guys, you know, what's the one thing you would change in the prequels? And as always, you guys came through. Here's what y'all said. my Knights of Hen, my question for this video: what is the one thing you would change about the originals? So first we did the sequels, then the prequels, and now the originals. Honestly, there's not a lot I would change. Maybe Ewoks, maybe. But overall, I think the original trilogy does really good. It gives us, you know, the feeling of what Star Wars is, gives us relatable characters, it gives us an excellent story, etc. But anyway, my Knights of Hen, leave your answers in the comments below to be featured in the next video. And as always, may the Force be with you.